Hi, everybody.
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Oh, Patty's made it. Excellent. And Maurice. Excellent.
Hi, Farrell. How are you? Greg.
How's everybody doing today?
Excellent. Nice to see Patty Walden
Good to
there.
have everybody here.
I've been down a rabbit hole solving a DNA puzzle, and I just saw Greg's email about 2 minutes ago. So.
Oh, good. I was wondering because you hadn't responded. I thought, oh no.
All right. Well, thank you, everybody. I'm not going to be able to make it. Virgo won't be able to make it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, work conflict.
Not to worry.
Dang, work gets in the way.
Darn work. Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you, everybody, for joining us for the 2025 Challenge Week 4 for Maurice Gleeson. We just want to introduce everybody in the studio in case somebody doesn't know who they are. We have Greg Clark is our challenge facilitator. And of course, we have our guest star, Maurice Gleeson.
Hi, everyone.
And then we have our challenge participants, John Tyner and Patty Waldron, that took part in the week. As we mentioned, Fergal wasn't able to make it today for the reveal, but I'm sure he'll catch it on the replay. So to introduce Maurice, he is an internationally acclaimed genetic genealogist who runs a popular educational YouTube channel on DNA research, bringing his expertise from his diverse professional background as a medical doctor, psychiatrist, and pharmaceutical physician. So to introduce the challenge, in case somebody hasn't heard about it, it doesn't know what it is, the WikiTree Challenge is our biggest ongoing community event. So every other week, we take a guest star and we grow the connections for them. And we have anywhere from 20 to 60 or more people that join us for that week. And connections, we call them CC7, which stands for Connection Counts Out 7 Degrees. And this is a person's number of connections on WikiTree within 7 degrees. And those connections can be family relationships, which includes relationships through marriage. So the degree measures the distance of the relationship. Nuclear relatives, for example, parents, siblings, spouses, and children are 1 degree away. Grandparents, aunts, uncles, nieces, nephews, in-laws, and grandchildren are 2 degrees because they're connected through 2 relationship steps and so on. The higher your CC7 number is, the fuller your branches in the tree are, and the more connections to the tree you can have. All right, so let's go ahead and get started by sharing from the guest star category. This is everybody that has done the WikiTree Challenge that has a profile that is as part of this category. These are your connections to those guest stars. So these are from 2021 through this year.
Okay.
So you can see.
Wow. I'm related to a lot of famous people, many of whom are genetic genealogists.
Yeah. So you can see that all of these people, if you click on the little icon that's in between where it says your degree count and the person, if you click on that, it shows you the connection, how it works. And then if you want to see, if you scroll down just a little bit further, you can actually have it take an alternate route if you want, just a little bit further, Greg.
Oh, okay.
Very good.
All right.
So scroll down, see it says find the shortest connection is the default. You can also have it find through a common ancestor.
Wow.
And there's a link there to the relationship finder, or you can have it look through a common paternal line ancestor, maternal line ancestor. So just different ways to get there.
Fabulous.
You can also remove somebody from the chain connections, and it will recalculate and try to find another path to the tree.
Wow.
So it's a
That's
really
amazing.
great little tool. Yeah. So you can
It
do
really-
that with any profile that is also connected to the tree. You can find your connection to them.
Well,
I
it
think
just
it's
goes
cool
to
that
show. Sorry, Greg, go ahead.
Maurice, I think it's cool that you have to go through Paul McCartney to get connected to AJ Jacobs.
Oh my goodness.
That's very cool.
Okay. I knew the Irish were in Liverpool, but I never knew they were this close. Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah. So
It's just cool being
that
9
was something
degrees from home.
Patty.
I know. That's crazy, isn't
Yeah.
it? Wow. Wow. It just goes to show how everyone is closely related to everybody else, really.
Mhm.
I mean, I
They
used to
really
believe
are.
in 6 degrees of separation, but the older I get, it goes down to 5 and 4 and 3. We just get much more connected as time goes on.
Yeah. Well, and like we were talking about, the more of those collateral lines you get added in to the tree, there's more ways you can connect. So
Mhm.
yeah, that's what makes this so fun. So here's the score sheet. There you go. We had 27 people that participated this week,
Thank you to all of them.
and yeah, you can see there that our MVP, or the top scoring participant, was Anand Sharkey. And we had at the beginning of the week, we set out your 8 great grandparent lines, and say one of the ways that people can earn bounty points is to find a distinct connection to the tree for each of those lines. And we had all 6 out of the 8 lines get a distinct connection made.
Wow.
So that was kind of great. And then another opportunity for bounty points is we have our challenge assistant, Celia Marsh, selects 8 profiles randomly in the tree and says, okay, these are our brick walls. And that's their opportunity then to break those brick walls down for that random profile. And we had those broken down. So the winners of those was another a non-Sharky badge got for her. And then Amanda Myers and Patty was also someone who got to break down some of those brick walls.
No surprise there.
So another thing that you can see from the score sheet is the distances from you to all the participants that take part in the challenge this year. And unfortunately, we were hoping we could get Patty closer to you, but there was no change on Patty. But Aowen dropped 7 degrees. She's 17 degrees away from you. So that was kind of fun.
Yeah.
Patty, you did a little bit of looking at this. Do you want to share that part of the page, Greg? I think it was the last interesting find.
The last interesting find? Okay, sure.
Yeah.
Where's the interesting one?
He just kind of broke down what it was.
Right.
How many people got closer by how much? I wasn't the only one who didn't move.
There we go. Yeah, I got 1 degree closer.
All right.
17 of us got no closer. Greg was 1 of 9 who got 1 degree closer. And lots of people got 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 degrees closer. And 2 people 6 degrees. Eowyn and Kathy, who's often involved in these challenges, 7 degrees. And Edison Williams, who's WikiTree's DNA expert, got 8 degrees closer.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
That's quite a jump.
Yeah.
We started off with 50. Oh, sorry.
Well, I was just going to ask if Patty, if you know which person was added that made these 2 jumps.
I didn't look for it. No.
Okay.
So we had we were started off with 53 profiles within 7 degrees of you, and there were 606 profiles added,
Wow.
but we increased your connections to 773. Unfortunately, we had to remove some people, a line of spouse and like 11 children had to be disconnected because of we disproved the relationship. But anyway, so it's a little bit different than, I think it's 753 or 56 now. So
Mhm.
there were a few profiles that got removed, but that's what happens.
Interesting.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And had I
So-
put that profile in initially, and you found an error in my research, or?
No, I don't think so. That was something that somebody at the starting of the week thought it. There were 2 families, I think, with the same names in the same area, and so we just had to like
I bet
get
they
them
were
separated.
Edward
Conflation happening.
Edward and Mary Gleeson on Silver Street got married and had 7 kids at the same time as Edward and Mary Gleeson on Pound Street around the corner. So for a long time, I was thinking, how come this couple was just alternating between 2 houses to have their children?
They couldn't fit them all in one house.
Exactly.
All the gaps for more than 9 months, were they?
I think with a little bit of looking at the birth certificates, you suddenly find out, well, hold on, these children were born 3 months apart. There's something wrong here. And then, of course, I found a second marriage for an Edward Gleeson to a Mary Gleeson. So what are the chances that an Edward Gleeson marries a Mary Gleeson, and around the corner, an Edward Gleeson marries a Mary Gleeson at the same
Oh my
time,
goodness!
and
That
have their
is so
kids in the
crazy.
same time span? So there's Irish genealogy for you.
Wow.
Yeah, very common.
Yeah, it was an Edward Walsh and a Kate Walsh.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
That's
so it was the
interesting.
Walsh line.
And the Walsh
Yeah,
line.
so it was
Right, okay.
Yeah.
Well, the Walshes came from Walsh Town, and I think that just says it all, really, doesn't it?
Oh, that's crazy. All right. Well, Greg, I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to you to
Okay.
share the rest.
Share the rest.
Of what we
Okay, then.
found.
Super. So one of the things that we like to do is we take a sort of a snapshot of your profiles, the number of profiles at the beginning of the challenge, and then again afterwards. So this little visual here, ideally your smiling face should be in the middle, Maurice. So just pretend you're
I can easily imagine that.
Yeah, okay. I created this app to visually display the number of people who are within 7 degrees, and so each of these colors represents a different degree. And there was only 51 at the very beginning of the challenge, because of some technical difficulties. It didn't replicate the images when we created the printout, so it looks a little askew. But so we had 51 at the beginning, and then at the end, this is
Wow.
751 now. Again, pretend your face is right there.
Indeed.
I think I worked out the bug in the program to get your face showing up here, but that was just 5 minutes before the show.
Well, just put anybody with their mouth wide open.
That's right. So, and this particular one, the gray dots that are in some of the rings, those are your direct ancestors.
Okay.
Whereas the ones that are just other colors are anyone else who's it could be an aunt, uncle, cousin,
Sure.
cousin's wife's brother's mother-in-law. Like going up that 7 degrees, as Azure explained.
Sure.
You can go through a lot of different things.
In-law to in-law to in-law to in-law.
Yeah, exactly. So the other thing that we like to do is we have a database in the obviously in the background running WikiTree, and a server that is run by one of our top WikiTree computer guys, Alesh, and he also has an amazing mapping program. So you can do really fancy, complicated queries to find specific things about WikiTree data or profiles. Or in this case, we did a search for everyone who was 7 degrees away from you. And then once we get that list, which is that 700 list, we can click a map it button and it'll just drew the map. So you can see you have basically 3 clusters of all the people who are 7 degrees away from you. There's so we zoomed in. There's your Australia. Apparently not so much Western Australia. You're focused just on that eastern coast.
Sure.
All your
Probably around Melbourne and Brisbane by the looks of things.
Yeah. Is that Brisbane and the Gold Coast there? Yeah.
Yes, it would be halfway up the east coast of Australia there.
Yeah. And then, of course, your UK. Lots.
There's Paul McCartney.
There's Paul McCartney and his gang in Liverpool there. Wow. A few brave souls made it to London.
That's just me, probably.
Oh,
well, there might be a few others. So
the neat thing on these maps is you can see the migration pattern from birth, the red dots to their death location, the blue dots. And if there is no arrow, so for example, this one over here, just south of Sunderland, stayed, stayed stationary, didn't move.
Or we don't have a death location.
Sure.
I hadn't thought of that, Azure. That's a good point. Yeah. And then there is the few that made it across the pond, or across that pond.
Indeed. Well, I'm seeing New York,
and
I'm seeing a little cluster there in Butte, Montana, probably up there on the left-hand side. And there's the occasional one in San Francisco, causing trouble.
Even a couple
and
down.
Actually, if you go over to the space page in the location section, we actually have just a list of like countries and then
there we go.
Counties or province.
Right.
So you can see it kind of laid out there. And of course, I think there's like 21 counties in Ireland.
Yeah, we covered a lot of Ireland. Oh, there's
or 18. Oh, refresh it because I updated it.
Oh, did you? Okay, let's check. Ooh, 23. Yeah.
Oh, very good.
Yeah, there you go. 23.
That's pretty good coverage.
Yeah,
23 out of 32. Very good.
In Scotland.
A lot in the US, some in Wales as well. Interesting.
Yeah. Did you break down Australia as well, or you did? Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go.
And a couple interesting locations are Belgium, Cyprus, India. So I was kind of
India, nice.
France got added.
That's interesting. I'd imagine the Indian connection would be people serving in the British Army in India.
Actually, there's one profile, and it's from a gal who married the guy that died in Cyprus. She was born in India, and her parents were born in India.
Oh, okay.
Or no, I don't know if her parents were. Now that I'm thinking about it, but her birth record was from India, so it's kind of interesting.
Yeah.
So here I'm showing you that this is what the WikiTree Plus looks like. So you can see it's a little complex. You put in your query here, and the specifics of this are actually on the free space page, and Azure's going to give you links to all of this, so you can play with this later. You don't have to copy it down.
Cool, great.
But once you've done that, then there's the link that automatically generates that map. So if we click that, you can see the map. So we could zoom in on India, in fact, because one of the things you can do is when you do that, we can click on that dot and it'll actually bring up the profile in question, so we can zoom right in and figure out who it is.
Okay. It's Lahore in the Punjab.
Wow. So we could Hermione Oh, now is that a typo? Is it supposed to be Hermione or is it Hermione?
That's from her birth record. That's the
Mhm.
spelling from her birth record. So
Okay.
Yes. It could very easily be a transcription error by the clerk, but
yeah, definitely.
who knows?
Mm-hmm.
Hermione. Okay.
So is this the person you were talking about? The
Yeah,
married?
she was born, and then he died. Anthony Jacob Hansen, which is one of the military profiles.
Mm.
He died in Cyprus.
Okay.
Right there, Tequila, Cyprus. Yeah.
Fascinating.
Yeah. And while we're here, I can show you that when you're on someone's profile, you can click on the name, and one of the options is to show the connection to me.
Right. Okay.
And then that will give you that link. Oh, of course, because I've logged in, it gives mine. So I'm going to change one of the options, which isn't much interest to you, Maurice, but let's put in.
It just means we're related, Greg.
It does. That's right. But if I put your connection there, she is 7 degrees away from you, and there.
Okay. Oh, on the Jacob side. Ah, very good.
Mm-hmm.
Very good. Interesting.
Yeah, and I
so
like
she
to go.
Would be directly connected to. Oh no, his wife, Catherine.
Mm-hmm.
Catherine Green, Joe Jacobs. Ah, right, on the Jacob side. Yes, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So she would be an in-law relation.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right. I like to look at it with its alternate view, so you can actually see the relationships that way.
Yeah, very good.
Yeah.
Her husband's uncle married your mother's aunt.
Yes. There you go.
And I'm my own grandpa.
There's a lot of that. Back to the maps. I also did. I did the same sort of map, going to 7 direct degrees from your 2 paternal grandparents.
Mm-hmm.
So this is Grandpa Gleeson, and it's the same. Basically, both of them, Grandpa Gleeson and Grandpa Hart. I don't know if you call them that. I'm just in my mind.
Sure,
that's how they all have the same pattern. So
that's interesting.
Yeah,
both sides of the family were
mm-hmm.
Subjected maybe to the same kind of social norms of the day.
Right. Yeah.
Interesting.
Which is interesting because in previous guests have radically different paternal and maternal lines sometimes
Mm-hmm.
and so you the maps are but yours a lot more similar, which is an interesting point.
Sure,
and then,
for every Irish person, the map would look like that.
Yeah. Well,
really would.
I was expecting a little more in Canada, but no. Doesn't look like there's just a few in Ontario. Looks like all we found. So,
well, and we only got 606 profiles added. I mean, I'm
right.
sure there are.
We keep working at it. We'll get
many more profiles that could be.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So then we also did. So we also have some interesting finds. Am I supposed to? Should I? Can we go straight into those now, Azure?
Did you want to share what Patty or have Patty talk about what he shared to his?
Yeah.
The Conroy and
two people you might know, Maurice, are within 9 degrees of you.
Oh.
Yeah, there we go. Well, let me just zoom in on that. There we go.
Lovely charts.
I like playing with charts when they behave for me. Come on. Oh, I know why. It's because of my zooming in.
Yeah, you're looking at an image instead of the tool, so it's
right. There we go.
Not going to be the same.
Zoom out just a little bit.
Yeah.
There we go. Okay. So
I need a bigger screen to read the small print, but I know.
Oh no. Okay. So it's is it too small there? Okay, I need to.
Maurice doesn't know what he's looking at, so he can't.
Well, I can see it on the big screen here, so
you have a big screen.
There we go. Okay. Ah, it's not.
Also,
It's
yeah.
zooming out in a weird way on my trackpad. Okay, so there you are, Maurice.
Yep.
So Patty found you and another
I'm
genealogist.
sure, Maurice, you know Gay Conroy from the Irish Genealogical Research Society.
I've certainly come across the name, yes.
Well, I recruited her to WikiTree at a talk I gave them last year.
Oh, wow.
And I discovered she is 9 degrees from you because her great uncle, Charles Meldon, married Annie Frayne, and
Right.
Annie's brother, David Frayne, married your great aunt, Dipna O'Carroll.
That's right. Yeah, yeah. And I'm still in touch with the Frame family in Bray. See them from time to time.
And
Yeah.
I think there were 2 David Frames in Ireland because I have a friend who keeps telling me about David Frame, a cinema entrepreneur.
Mm.
There's actually 3 of them.
I don't think he's the same one as your David.
Oh, okay. Because the Frame family came from Scotland originally.
Oh, interesting.
In the
I
1911
have a-
census, there were 2 David Frames from Scotland living in Ireland.
Oh, really? Oh, that's interesting.
I have a David Frame from Scotland.
Do you? Well,
Yeah.
we're probably related, John, then. Have we figured out degrees of separation from myself and John?
We're 20 degrees apart.
20 degrees. I would have
Yeah.
thought it would be if so. Probably the Frame connection is not necessarily the same Frame family then.
Don't know.
No, we'll have to look into that.
20 degrees, yeah.
So that's Gay Conroy then. 9. Is she one of the closest people in terms of 9 degrees of separation?
So
Can we see who are the active WikiTreeers who are closest to Maurice?
let's see. These are the ones that active WikiTreeers. I don't know how we do that, Azure. Do you like we can on the participants?
Just the participants, yeah. We'd have to have their IDs and check the connection finder.
Right. So 21, 20. Oh, there's 17. Oh, that's Eowyn is now down to 17. So she's pretty close.
Okay.
Yeah, she's the one that dropped 7 degrees.
Yeah.
Kathy Nava is the other one
Amanda
that dropped.
Myers from Australia is at 19 degrees.
Mm-hmm.
But the closest ones are Eowyn and Kathy and Patty, I think, from
Okay.
this list.
From
They're
this
all
list?
at 17.
Okay. There's Patty. Yeah,
Yeah.
at 17.
The closest ones were 17 degrees, I think. Right,
Yeah.
Patty?
I think so, yeah.
Oh,
Mhm.
so I'm not feeling so bad for you, Patty, that you didn't change because you're still the closest one. I
And
was
then
thinking
the
after all that
other,
work, you should have got closer, but you are still the closest.
and then he found another person,
Mhm.
Patty did, that you're also probably know.
That you might know.
And
You
who
know,
is that?
the geneticists in TCD. You know Dave McConnell, the longtime head of department there.
Oh,
Oh, dear.
now hold on. Is he retired?
He's retired, yeah.
Oh, right, okay. Yes, I think I've met him one time actually when James Watson came over to Ireland to unveil the sculpture in the Botanical Gardens of DNA and RNA.
That's our cover photo on our Facebook group. Might even be
Yes,
in
yes,
that.
exactly.
But he's also 9 degrees from you. Well, I'm pretty certain it's the same day.
Oh, that's interesting.
Who's also participated a little bit in WikiTree.
Indeed. Well, David Watson has a Gleeson. His grandmother was a Gleeson. So, not David, James Watson. James Watson, his grandmother on his mother's side was a Gleeson. And I was trying to
There we go.
find a suitable candidate in his family to do Y-DNA testing on the Gleeson side of the family, but wasn't able to find anyone in his family tree that would be suitable. There just isn't a direct male line there And that was after researching his family tree on the Gleeson side anyway, back to the mid-1800s in and around Chicago. So there we go.
Mhm.
So
So this is-
somebody in the challenge actually created profiles for the Dags. I think it was
Alien and
maybe
Russian.
Reginald and Annie, and it turned out they were already on WikiTree, so they had
Oh.
to be merged.
Oh,
And that gave you your connection to David, whose first cousin once removed, Aileen Dag, married your first cousin once removed, Abraham Jacob.
Abraham Jacob, yes.
There we go. There's
1911 to 1952. He died when he was 41 years old. A.B. Jacob. Now, there was one of the Jacobs that actually drowned in a river, and I'm not sure it was him. But that is the connection, obviously, between them.
Mhm.
Fabulous. And
Thanks.
again, lovely chart. I love the way that you can generate these charts to show
Mhm.
how the connection actually is. Brilliant.
Which of
Very
your
impressive.
apps is that chart from, Greg?
Yeah, this is a chart from one of my apps. Yeah.
Okay.
So
You must be rich, Greg.
We'll
well,
get you all these links.
that's right. Yeah.
Very good. Very good.
I appreciate this, Patty, that you making this fine just for the pure symmetry of it all.
Yes, exactly.
My connection to Maurice is equally symmetric, as we saw during the week.
So there was lots of other interesting finds that were there was 2 half brothers married 2 sisters, and I don't know if you know the details of that, Patty, but so Margaret Connors and Martha Connors, 2 sisters, married Thomas Boylan and William Ryan. They share a mother in common, an Annie O'Malley,
Okay.
but different fathers.
Oh, this is the right. Okay, this is the New Jersey Boylans. Yes.
And then we have military information about Thomas Francis Boylan.
Right. He was one
And
of
an interesting find as well.
Now, was he the chap that had 4 wives?
Oh, Thomas.
I don't know. You want to go to his profile?
Yeah, exactly what I was thinking. Let's check that out.
Most houses have 2 children on WikiTree.
We've only got 2 of them listed here.
It might have been. It might have been his father. Actually, was the one that had 4 wives.
William.
Oh, maybe. Yeah, maybe that's why there's half siblings.
One. Well, we got 3. We're getting closer.
Yeah, indeed.
Can we go up another generation?
Well, and it just might not. It might be that they did, that fourth wife didn't get added.
Mm-hmm.
And the third wife was 54 years younger than the first wife.
He had a bit of a reputation.
Wow.
But Thomas Francis Boylan served during the Spanish-American War,
Yeah.
and
Right.
he had some interesting jobs that are listed there on his profile. President of a bicycle pump company, inspector at the Never Slip Works horseshoe factory, a heated cork manufacturer, and
Wow.
then he was a superintendent of the St. Peter's Cemetery in New Brunswick. So there's the newspaper article there, and there's links there to all that information. It's outlined a little bit, written out better there on the page, but
Sure. No,
kinda
he
interesting.
was quite the entrepreneur.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then I think his 4th wife, who had the good sense to outlive him, because I think she was in her 20s when he married her in his late 70s or early 80s. She went on to marry, she inherited his entire estate. And this is from memory, so I hope I'm correct. She inherited his entire estate and then married his first son.
Oh.
So she married her stepson.
Oh,
Oh wow!
And
So that's his. So this Thomas Boylan's stepmother, or is it his mom that was the one that outlived?
no,
If
it
you
was
want to go to
William
the mom,
Boylan. William Boylan's fourth wife.
okay.
She married his son by his first wife
Oh,
after
so
he
who's
died.
her second spouse?
Wow.
Do we
No,
have
I
that
don't.
have
on
fun.
here?
There's William Boylan
Oh,
and
Joseph T. Ryan. Is
Uh,
that?
let
hmm.
me have a quick look here.
It might not.
Might not have
It
been added
might be
yet.
that the person isn't on there yet.
No, indeed. I should
We'll
be
have
able
to
to
look
find
into
here
that.
in
Somebody
the tree.
take.
Yes,
Wow, that's pretty intricate.
it's a pretty good connection.
Wow.
So let's see there. That's James Boylan. His brother was William Boylan, and William Boylan married first of all Elizabeth Moore, or he married Bridget Wall, Anne Maylie Ryan, possibly, and then Elizabeth Moore. So maybe there were just the three,
Hmm.
three wives. And as far as I can tell, he married first of all.
Oh, they do have a fourth. They do have four on the. I think it's the research notes.
Or do they?
Oh, did they?
Oh no, it
That's
is in the
okay.
biography of Williams. So number one, Elizabeth Moore,
That's right. Then
according
Bridget
to, and then
Wall.
number two, Mary to McShay, Miss McShay. So that's the
Oh,
one that I think isn't on here yet.
right. Okay. I don't have that one here either. So that's
Ms.
it.
McShay. Oh, there I see. Yeah, here we go. According to the 89 newspaper clipping. Is that what you're reading? Yeah.
Yeah.
And the last one was Anne Ryan. Anne Boyle, Maylie Boylan Ryan. And she married, first of all, William Boylan. She married Joseph T. Ryan. It's somewhere in there. I can't see the obvious connection at this point in time. But there
Mhm.
was a very interesting series
Yeah,
of
that is
newspaper
really
articles
interesting.
Wow.
that because she married, because she only inherited the estate on the grounds that she does not marry again, and because she married her stepson, then the whole estate was
Oh,
forfeited.
wow.
So there's a big court case about it.
Wow.
Huh.
Fascinating stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll have to investigate that and get that all added.
Yeah.
Lovely.
Neat.
Very cool.
So the next one, another interesting find was James Carroll, founded the San Francisco Laundry Association. Received a patent for a washing machine, and then took a trip to Rome, meeting with the Pope, caused him to embrace the Catholic Church, and he renounced his Masonic ties.
Why?
Wow. But his death, he was worth $147,000, which today is over $5 million, almost 5.8.
Yep. And he gave the vast majority of it to the Catholic Archbishop of San Francisco.
Oh, I'm sure the Archbishop would like that.
He did, but when I told my niece what had happened, she said, "Damn, we could have been rich."
We could have been rich. So he would have been a great uncle of yours then.
Yeah, James O'Carroll. Fascinating character. He had a hearing trumpet, one of those big megaphone type of things.
Wow.
In the last few years of his life. And I stumbled across his grave completely by accident in San Francisco, because his brother was Joseph O'Carroll, who was, as you have there, my great-great-grandfather. And Joseph O'Carroll had a son called James Joseph O'Carroll, who is buried in Colma Cemetery in San Francisco. So Catherine Borge and Linda, whom you know very well, Paddy, they dropped me at the cemetery one time when I was over in San Francisco, and I went in and found James Joseph O'Carroll's grave, and there was nothing of particular relevance written on it. But I asked if they had a grave for Joseph O'Carroll, and they said, "Oh yeah, there is." And so I went to photograph that grave, and his name wasn't even mentioned on it. He was just in the burial register for the cemetery, and all it said on the grave, which was a huge obelisk and Italian tiling, it just said Carroll, and it didn't say anything else.
Huh.
Oh, wow.
So I went home and was playing around with newspapers.com, the first time I'd had a subscription to it. And I found this James O'Carroll on the front page of the New York Times, the front page of the San Francisco Chronicle. Wealthy bachelor capitalist leaves all his money to the Catholic Archbishop of San Francisco. And as I was reading it, he left $5,000 to Joseph O'Carroll, Hugh O'Carroll, and all of the siblings of my great-grandfather. So it's then the penny dropped that he was actually my great-great-grandfather's brother. And I followed the story in the newspapers, and apparently my great-great-grandfather, Joseph O'Carroll, his brother, challenged the will and traveled from Dublin to San Francisco. And in those days, the railway had not been built across the Rockies, so he had to go around the tip of South America, I believe. This is what I was told, and then arrived in San Francisco. And a month later, he had a stroke and was buried in the same grave as his brother.
Oh my goodness.
From whence they fought afterwards.
Oh, I'd say the two of them are still spinning in the grave.
Wow.
Crazy story. But I think on my next visit to San Francisco, I do want to have a pleasant meeting with the Catholic Archbishop of San Francisco. A little bit of afternoon tea, and if he's missing a teaspoon at the end of it, well, you'll know why.
That's right. Oh, wow. Anne found one. Do you guys know the Patty or Azure? Do you know the details of this one?
Yeah.
Yeah. Hugh
If
Kerrigan.
you can just
I
go
can just
ahead.
read it. Okay. Had a fantastic life in high school, Bogota High School. Interesting. Editor-in-chief of the newspaper, The Klaxon. Went to 3 different colleges. Enlisted twice in the Navy. This is Hugh Kerrigan. Taught 6th to 8th grades at the Bixby School in Bogota. He was a principal at an elementary school, Lillian M. Stern Elementary School, starting in '63. This is really nice. Now, I'm a retired teacher myself, Maurice.
Okay.
So this is very touching. Before his last day as principal, children handed him a farewell patchwork homemade memories quilt. They made it with the help of their teachers, and it was for their favorite principal.
Yeah, if you go to his profile, you can see the newspaper article is linked, and you can actually see the picture.
Wow.
They actually, the mayor declared a day in 1987. They named the day after him. No, it's
Hugh
not
Kerrigan
that one.
Day.
It's
Not that one? Oh, there's another one.
Yeah. So keep scrolling down.
Scroll.
There you go. Nope, down further.
Further? Okay.
Yep. Sorry. It's
This one?
1989.
Oh, there we go.
Patrick
Wow.
Quill.
Actually,
Yeah.
look at that.
There you go.
Lovely. Wow. I wonder where that is
Isn't that
now. Because I know
Yeah,
the
because
Kerrigans.
he never married, apparently. So
Oh, okay. Well, that's a lovely patchwork quilt.
Yeah.
Oh, cute photo as well.
really
Nice.
neat.
Very cool.
That is amazing.
And so let's see. So he is.
And then his sister is the next interesting find, which I thought was kind of cool.
Yeah. So here's your connection to him.
Right. Okay.
Okay. So it'd be your
Yep. my
dad's
great
second cousin,
friend.
right?
That's right. That's right. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, that's
and
to
then-
his sister, but yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
the same. Yeah. There's your
Same
the
one, yeah.
sister. We just changed the name, the first name. That's all. That was an easy. That's an easy one. Margaret Mary Kerrigan from her states. At one time she was the only female basketball coach in the country.
Oh wow.
That's pretty cool.
No, absolutely. I didn't know that.
Oh, we don't have a picture of her though. We should have a picture of her in the gym.
Dunking. One of those.
Yeah, that's right.
And I actually know Bogota because I have a second cousin who lives there whose children would
Really?
be going to school around the time of that presentation. So I wonder were they in Mr.
Wow.
Kerrigan's class.
Mhm.
Oh,
Well, that's
there,
cool.
there's our 3 degrees of separation.
There you go.
Yeah, that's amazing. Now, John, were you looking specifically for bacon factories in there? I've never heard of a
No.
bacon factory, but one of the interesting finds was the manager of a bacon factory.
Oh, wow.
And the bacon factory was later owned by our former Taoiseach, Albert Reynolds,
Oh, really?
in the 1960s, yeah.
And it housed the first operation of using pig's eyelids in Ireland on a human male.
Yeah.
What was that about?
Yeah, what is that?
Not something you learned in medical school, Maurice?
I think there's a on the actual profile. I think there's a
Is
newspaper
there an
article or
explanation of
something
this?
Really?
Yeah, I left the article in the research notes.
Oh, fabulous. It sounds more like a stag night than.
Okay, a pig eyelid transplant on a human.
That's incredible.
Wow,
Amazing.
that's wild. So his connection there is you can see we're talking.
Oh, on the Southwell side, yes. So he's an in-law.
He's an in-law of an in-law. Yeah.
Yeah. No, my dad would talk about Benny Mulvin, who would have been his uncle by marriage.
Mm-hmm.
And the Southwells are an interesting family.
Mm.
Yeah, because they may have a connection. Southwells owned a lot of land in Wicklow, and there may be a connection to Limerick at some point in time as well, but I've never been able to figure out how the two families are connected.
Nice.
Interesting. Very good.
Then we have let's see. Oh, we
So
already
number
talked.
7
We already
is next.
we already saw.
All right.
Your
David J.
first cousin
McConnell.
removed. Maguire, Henry Patrick Maguire was a POW in World War II.
Oh, wow.
And a bomber. It was a bomber commander for the 58.
And how is he connected to me?
Okay, so there's his profile. He's a warrant officer. And let's just check there.
And the file, the ancestry file, is his interview.
Oh, Bill Maguire's brother.
Is there.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Okay.
Oh, so that's pretty
You
close.
can actually look at
That's very close.
You can actually look at the interview questionnaire
Right.
that he filled out, where he talks about where he was held. Yeah,
Is it
it's
here
right
in
there.
this ancestry record here?
Yeah. Yep, that's it.
Wow.
Talks about right there on that page. It has the 4 different locations, 4 or 5, where he was held.
Which ones were
Yes.
Can you zoom in?
Frankfurt,
Can you
Lithberg,
zoom in a little? Yeah.
Is it? Okay, and then Dulag, Stalag, yeah, like that.
Right. Okay.
So they kept
he was moved around.
Is that what I'm reading?
Stalag Luft 3, The Great Escape.
Is that
Which one was that, John?
Stalag Luft 3, wasn't that The Great Escape?
I can't remember offhand. Yeah.
So that was really an interesting.
No, indeed. I didn't know that anybody that close was fighting in World War II. There's quite a few in World War I, but he might be one of the first ones I've come across from World War II.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we actually have a couple profiles in that section, but we can get to those later. But
sure.
You have
we talked.
You have an artiste.
We talked about number 8.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, we talked about number 8. Number 9, you have Arthur Vincent Healy, was a playwright, an actor, crazy comedies, a talented GAA footballer, and a musician, performing in both operas and orchestras.
Oh,
And if you go to his profile, there's links to the articles there too, where it talks about his
wow.
acting and everything.
So he was an athlete as well as an actor. So that's impressive.
And I'm an actor myself as well.
Are you? And are you also an athlete?
Well, I've started going back to the gym now for the last 6 months or so. So I'm getting there slowly.
Wow.
Another 25 years and I should be okay.
Okay. Well, I have no athletic ability at all. Luckily, my kids inherit it from my wife. So.
Well, my great-grandfather, Martin M. Gleeson, Martin Maurice Gleeson, my namesake, he took out an advertisement in the Irish Times, and he challenged any man in Ireland to beat him at the shot put, throwing the hammer, and he just listed off this whole list of athletic competitions that he said he would pay any man in Ireland £10 if they beat him on at any of these things. And we have his diaries from 1888 and 1890, and he's actually recorded the diameter of his biceps and his thighs.
Wow.
So he was very serious about keeping fit, and
Wow.
he started the GAA down in Ballynahinch and Killascully, and he also started the GAA in West Wicklow as well. So he was serious about his exercise.
So what does what does GAA stand for?
GAA stands for the Gaelic Athletic Association. So when the Gaelic revival happened towards the end of the 1800s, and a renewed interest took place in Irish heritage, and one of the things that they revived, as well as the art and the music and the language, was the games that were inherently Gaelic or inherently Irish. So there's Gaelic football, there's hurley, which is, gosh, what's the best way of describing that? I don't think there's any way to describe it except what would you say, Paddy?
Americans would call it field hockey. The
Right.
stick is a little different from a hockey stick, but the ball
Yes.
is similar, and it's two
Yeah.
teams on a grass field.
I don't know who invented it, but giving 30 guys clubs and saying go onto a field and enjoy yourselves.
Who thought that was a good idea?
One of the worst ideas that anyone probably could have come up with. But that was one of the
Nowadays, they all wear helmets.
Well, nowadays they have helmets. Yes, back then they didn't have helmets and they didn't have front teeth either, probably.
Oh my goodness.
Sure, I can imagine. So let's see. The next interesting find, I love this. James McAvoy worked as a gardener in Galveston, Texas. So that was one of the few dots down in the Texas area.
Oh, wow.
He offered 20,000 cabbages and other garden plants for sale. He also offers his services for planning and laying out gardens.
Okay.
Yeah, there's an image
a
of
huge
the
amount of
newspaper
garden.
article on his profile.
Okay. What was he doing with
Oh, you
20,000
went right by it.
cabbages?
It's up by the images.
There it is.
There you go.
For sale, 20,000 cabbages and other garden plants. Oh, and I also offer out services for. It's like a little business card or something.
No, that's fantastic.
That's
Fantastic.
great.
Oh, wow.
That's great.
Haven't come across him.
Okay, and we already saw the link between
Myself
Gay
and Kay Conroy, yes,
Gay
indeed.
Conroy,
We already saw number 12.
yeah, and number 12. So we talked about military profiles.
Oh,
But
wow.
And
we didn't mention that it was a Civil War.
no,
Wow.
that was new from this
Veteran
morning. I
there.
didn't make a card up for Joel.
Yeah.
I'll have to do that.
And then we talked about Thomas Francis Boylan.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And then did we say anything about Stephen James from
We didn't
World
talk
War
about.
One? Those two.
No, I don't think we talked about the World War One. We have two World War One people that we found. Stephen Lawler.
Mm-hmm.
Those are your France and Belgium
Mm-hmm.
location profiles.
And
Yeah.
how am I connected to Stephen Law? Ah, there we go.
Let me just show you here. So there's the Healy connection. There's the
Sure.
McAvoy connection that we just.
Yep, indeed. Wow.
And there's Gay Boyland. There's Stephen Lawler.
Right, okay. So, So Ruby Kathleen Gleeson, right. Sandy Patterson was one of her 3 surviving of the 8 children, and she married John Lawler, and Stephen Lawler was his brother. Interesting. So that they would have been from Australia.
Mhm.
Yes, colony of Queensland. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Mhm.
didn't get any closer to Maurice, but I did find another path the same length that goes through.
Oh, okay.
All right. Well, that should allow you to half your connection. So we make it 4.5, Paddy.
Okay. So I didn't realize this. When I put these together, I should have noticed this. But the 2 who passed away in the First World War, one in France and one in Belgium, are they cousins? Well, they're connected.
Our brothers-in-law to 2 Patterson sisters.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed. Yep. They would be.
Yeah.
And Maurice has given great talks about tracking down Ruby Gleeson at various conferences, haven't you?
Indeed, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mm.
It started with a wedding memento that fell out of my great-grandfather's books and papers.
Oh, interesting.
My dad said, she's not one of ours.
Oh,
I said, well, before you put her in the shoebox and put her under the bed, let's ask our first cousin, Liz. And cousin Liz said, oh no, she's definitely not one of ours. You can safely put her in the shoebox. And I was horrified. So I thought, no, I'm not putting her in the shoebox. I looked up the wedding memento, got the marriage certificate, and it all cascaded from there. And finally got a Y-DNA match with some living relatives in Australia. And I've been out there twice and I've met up with them, and they're a lovely family. And it was lovely to make that connection. And they had no
That's
idea
awesome.
of the connection back to Ireland. So
Wow. That's
That is
cool.
She
neat.
changed her name from Catherine to Ruby just to put you off the trail.
probably, well, we think it's because she had reddish hair, and the red hair would have been Ruby. And there actually was a second Ruby, Kathleen Gleeson, in Australia. Nothing to do with us, but she kind of threw me off the scent for a while.
So we talked about Anthony because it was his wife who was from India, right?
Right,
Yes.
Right. And he was a Second World War vet. Didn't die during the Second World War, though.
Right, okay. He died in Cyprus in 1964.
Mm-hmm.
Right, okay.
And there's your connection there.
Indeed, through the Jacob side.
And then Henry Patrick Maguire, I think we saw him.
Yes, Uncle Bill's brother.
Right.
Interesting.
And I think that's the.
And then there's we talked about Hugh Richard Kerrigan. He was in the Korean conflict.
Oh, was he?
And then then we have one that's a Vietnam War, Thomas Michael Carpenter.
All right. Now, did he fight in the war, or was he taken prisoner?
Buried in Arlington. Doesn't say.
Okay.
I think it's probably in his obituary is where
Sure.
it was probably mentioned.
Okay.
Oh, and then there's military registers too.
Wow. Very good.
Okay.
This is a huge amount of work, guys. Well done.
We had a lot of fun, and then there were 2 play studies that were part of that we had some profiles in it from your challenge was because we have 2 play studies in Wicklow, so that was neat to find. We have over 600 play studies on WikiTree, so it's always fun to find those. But yeah, we had a lot of fun this week.
Indeed. I'm going to have more fun just looking through everything and
that's right. Yeah.
checking everything out. Because you've discovered a lot of things here that I didn't know anything about.
Yeah. Did you want to show a live feed of the super tree or
Oh,
the fan
sure.
chart?
Sure, I can do that. Yeah, I had the super tree loading up, didn't I? It's over here somewhere. There we go. Okay.
Well,
So
some of
the
the images, they're just screen grabs, but this is the actual live tool, which you can get to from your profile, the
mhm,
tree apps icon.
right. So if we go, let's. I'll just show you how you. So if
Sure.
from your profile or
Mhm.
anyone's profile, actually, there's a little icon
Tree apps.
that looks like this that says Tree Apps,
Mhm.
and when you click on that, it'll open up the most recent app that you've been working on. So the tree app was the one that I had just most recently been working on. Let me just show you the fan chart, which is sort of the default one.
Mhm.
And you're familiar with the fan chart, and
Yeah,
it looks like I've
indeed.
been playing with the settings. So let me go back to the default settings.
Okay.
There we go. There's the default settings.
Very good.
It's
And
very customizable.
yes, as you can see.
Indeed. It's
So
fabulous.
yeah, I was showing it to someone else. Actually, it was Daniel Horowitz. I was showing how you customize it, and we sort of went down a bit of a rabbit hole about how you could go into the colors and color it by region, by location, and that's where I had chosen birth location or death location or whatever. But there's lots of options here that you can play with.
That's lovely.
So, and I've added the marriage dates to the fan chart as well. Not all fan charts have that as an option.
Sure.
And you can just hit the plus to go up generations.
Mm-hmm.
It's nice to leave it at 5 because then you can feel, oh look, I'm done my genealogy. It's all solid.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I can retire now.
I can retire now. But then, every one of us has a generation when all of a sudden you start to see some white. So the super tree is one that I put together because I wanted to see more than just the pedigree, right? Which is the fan chart, just shows you your pedigree. But this one, just zoom in here, allows you to branch out and just see not only just straight up, also adding descendants down, but also going sideways. And so if you have a really long hallway that you want to paper, this is a good app to.
No, indeed. Yeah.
You got 3 generations. At each generation you can go down. And now I think I have as far as like third cousins at each generation, sort of thing. So.
Very good.
Yeah.
Lots of fun to play with.
Well, I'm thinking when you print it out, do you still have to sellotape everything together? Scotch tape.
Well, it depends on if you can turn it into a PDF, and actually I'm going to be adding that option to do that automatically. Because I've done this with some of the charts, is then sending it to Staples is our local print shop, or Kinko's. I'm not sure what you have in Ireland. But
I'll have to check which one can do wallpaper out of your family tree.
That's right, because they have they have the giant papers that you can print on, like architectural stuff, and
wow,
that's so cool.
It's kind of cool.
No, I just have my longest one is 4 A4 pages. Scotch taped together.
Yes.
Yeah, and it works fine. Although the Scotch tape is losing its adhesiveness now after 5 years.
Yeah. Yeah. So one of the things that I've just added recently to this app is when you click on a name, you get a little card that pops up that gives you the details about the person. And then I've added this little connection icon, so we can tell that this person is 6 degrees away. And if I click on that, there's that image that I used.
Fantastic.
So you can see the snake through which you're connected.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Which is cool. And if you're related multiple ways, then you actually see multiple versions of that. So
wow, incredible.
But there's lots of different apps you can investigate and shoot and play with as well. So
that's really good.
Yeah.
I'm so impressed with the amount of work that you guys have done. And I'm super impressed with the various apps that you've put together, Greg. So congratulations all around.
Well, you're quite welcome. Thank you.
Well, I'm humbled. I'm humbled.
We had a lot of fun. John
Mhm.
or Patty, was there anything more that you wanted to share
Hmm.
or talk about?
Not really. I was busy on other things that week, so I didn't get to do as much as I wanted.
No, don't think so. I think we covered everything.
Very good. Well,
Okay.
thank you guys for all of the research that you've done and all the hard work you put in. I'm going to have hours of fun now scouring through the trees, going, how the heck did I miss that? So, so
Well,
looking
thank you
forward to
so
that.
much for taking part.
Well,
Mhm.
thank you for inviting me. It's been an absolute pleasure, and I've been looking forward to today for the last 2 weeks.
Oh, good. Excellent. Great. Well,
All right. Well,
so who's next? What's happening next, Azure?
so
You've
our
got
next
Daniel
guest
Horowitz
star
coming up,
is.
haven't you?
Oh no, that's who we just did, Daniel Horowitz.
Oh, you just did Daniel, right? Okay.
just
was
did, yeah.
before, yeah.
Diane Southard.
So coming up in,
All right, Danny.
yeah, we have Diane, and that's June 12th to the 19th. So that'll be the next one that's coming up. Looking forward to that.
Mhm.
All right, and then I think the next event on the WikiTree schedule is the Saturday roundup with Greg and Betsy and Vicky.
That's right.
So stay tuned, y'all, for that. Thank you again, everybody, for joining us, and we'll see everybody around the tree. Bye.
Thank you, guys. Thank
Bye.
you.
See ya.
Bye. See you.